Hey everybody, I'm Calvin Williams. I'm the founder and CEO of Impruver Inc. Impruver is a software that helps companies to engage everybody in improving something important every day for the business, driving those good continuous improvement behaviors and habits and routines into the way the company normally operates. And today I have the honor and the privilege to be with my great friends, Jeremy Letterman of Brook and Whittle and Jon McManus of Brook and Whittle as well. Let's start off with some brief introductions. Let's start with you, Jeremy, the VP of Operations. Jeremy, you want to do a quick 45-second intro, your name, company, what you do, and sort of your thoughts around continuous improvement in general.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Kelvin. And my name is Jeremy Letterman. I'm the Senior Vice President of Operations and Supply Chain for Brook and Whittle. I've been with the company a little over 2.5 years now and had a extensive lean experience in a company I worked with prior to Brook and Whittle, and as well as Six Sigma experience as well. So coming into this process was great when I crossed paths with Kelvin, and we'll talk more about that, I think, as we go forward here.
Yep, no doubt. Jeremy, I think we go back to, is it pre-Thanksgiving of last year? Is that about right?
Way back. What was that? 6 months now? Four or 5 months? Yeah.
Seemed like a whole lifetime by now. You know, that's it's a lot going on. Be glad to spend some time with you face to face post pandemic. Looking forward to that too. So, Jon is a continuous improvement leader with Brook and Whittle. Jon, you want to do a quick 45-second intro, name, company title, and sort of your background or thoughts around continuous improvement in general?
Sure. I've been with Brook and Whittle for about 2 years. I am the continuous improvement manager, and have a background as a practitioner in Lean and Six Sigma as well. I think that from my standpoint, the Toyota Kata is a really complementary a tool that'll get us more mileage for our continuous improvement, as well as it's a better tool for us to implement change in our organization. So as a change management tool, it's going to be much more effective than Lean by itself.
Yeah. And for you guys, what really impressed me is your level of focus and drive for true transformation. I know the company's going through a lot. It's growing fast, which is great to hear, especially for a company in the printing business, which in a world where everything's going online and software is eating the world, you guys are showing that there is a place for printing business to thrive as well. So it's been great to see that and to work with you guys and get to know you and see your passion around driving some real operational improvement within the company and driving excellence. So, all right, so let's dive in. Got some Q&A questions here. Jeremy, you're up first. You mentioned that we've been corresponding for some time now, but what made you decide to engage with Impruver?
Well, Kelvin, I think when we first connected, was it Q4 of last year, I was really thinking about how we're going to drive results in Brook and Whittle going into 2021. And when I was reflecting, you mentioned the huge growth that we've seen here in Brook and Whittle. You start realizing at some point you grow really fast and you're not necessarily engaging the employees enough along the way. And I started reflecting a little bit on what can we do to drive more initiatives faster and engage more people in that. And as I was thinking about Toyota Kata and some experience I had with Toyota Kata, we started looking into what tools are out there to help. And then ultimately, I think on LinkedIn, we connected at one point and I found Calvin and Impruver. And I'm like, wow, what a platform to hopefully help accelerate this initiative that just really went with, corresponded with what I want to do for Brook and Whittle for 2021.
Yeah. You mentioned that in a past life, you had done some stuff with Toyota Kata, and I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, as you saw, what we did is just in the past 6 weeks, I guess, sounds like we made a lot of progress in a very short time. And it sounds like Jon is geared up to do a lot more in the next few months here. Very excited to see how that goes. So Jon, when Jeremy came to you and said, hey, Jon, we're going to do this Improver thing, I found a software for you to check out. What was your first impression?
Well, the first thing I noticed visually, it was obviously a really good tool to help us align our objectives and goals at each organizational level, which is always a challenge for any company. And here was a tool that was really kind of drawing it out for you right there in plain view, and something that'd be easy for us to communicate to all levels of organization. So it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's nice to. It's a good point because it's nice to have a strategy deployment tool. It's nice to have a root cause analysis tool. It's nice to have a all these analog tools that aren't connected, but I think it changes the game when you got them all sort of packaged in one sort of unbox and go type of platform. So very cool. So Jeremy, so you went into this. I know you've got a lot to do. You got a lot on your plate, a lot you want to accomplish, and not a lot of time to do it. What were you expecting to achieve with this engagement that we just finished?
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be selfish for a second. I saw the software, I saw the tools and the training potential, and all I could think about is, wow, this can help me accelerate change. And what I was hoping to achieve was exactly what we came out with: is get a key leader in our organization, as Jon in continuous improvement role, get him trained in the principles of Toyota Kata, and find a method that's just to help accelerate this across the company.
Yeah, and technology, if it's good for nothing else, is certainly an accelerator, right?
That's right.
It's an accelerator of good things, but it could accelerate things that aren't good. But I think in this case, I know you guys came into this looking to grow earnings as a business, given all the complexity of the business, and I know material waste reduction was a big focus in order to do that. So Jon, let me go to you then. So what did you hope to gain from this engagement?
Well, really is to find a better way to engage our employees around continual improvement, and do it in a way that's more sustainable than just lean alone. Like a lot of companies, you can always apply the tools of lean, but there's always that tendency to have things snap back the way they used to be. And this really helps you build that foundation to support lean in a more mature organization, so that you can make changes and they're going to stay, and you can build on those.
Yep. And it's key. I think the key thing is the continuous piece, right? Because a lot of folks approach lean and continuous improvement as a project. We're going to do a lean project, and then you do that, you engage, you get people roped in for a window of time, but then when that's done, it sort of just evaporates into thin air. The level of activity, and sometimes the results evaporate with it. With this, you're essentially looking to keep people going. Always having something on their plate, that next improvement on their plate to drive. And so this is good. This will be a great experiment to see how this really works at an enterprise scale. Jeremy, so you guys did a ton of work over the last 6 weeks. I think you had, 15 different improvements, maybe more, considering the stuff that was not captured in the system. What results did you guys achieve so far?
Yeah, you say that, and I'm actually thinking of answering this two ways, because one is the process that we went through, and I think there's a lot of results to talk about there, as well as the savings. And I'm actually going to talk about the process. I could let Jon gloat a little bit about the savings and what he's able to drive, but for me, the results in just kicking this off with getting our first coach certified in the company has given us the opportunity to take a step back and really talk about how broad can we go as an organization, thinking differently about our continuous improvement platform, and just how fast can we go with rolling out this concept. And this software, the training, and the engagement event with Jon has really allowed us to take a step back and I think come up with a great plan for how we might be able to leverage the tools that we learned during this process to really accelerate change for us again. So for me, I'm excited about the achievements on what it's going to do for the corporation. And I guess I won't take the thunder away from Jon, and what he'll tell you a little bit about just exactly what he was able to drive for us on this specific project.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So yeah, I like the thought there about enterprise-wide continuous improvement. While a lot of folks focus on the shop floor and they think it kind of starts and stops there, but yeah, it's the application is much broader and wider than just that. I think it needs to be in order for you to have true sustaining success. So yeah, Jon, pick it up there. I mean, what were the results you achieved, and what were some of the biggest improvements that were made?
Well, we were looking at our finished goods inventory and trying to reduce overruns being actually sold into the inventory. And we were looking at the number of in-spec jobs that were moved into the inventory. That means jobs that were of the correct order amount into inventory. We went from 65% of jobs within specification to 99% in a period of 4 weeks. What that translates to is that it means that we are not putting inventory into our warehouse that we can't sell, which has been a traditional problem with our organization. And that can amount to a significant saving year over year for our business. So with just 4 weeks alone, we're able to have an impact on what going into our warehouse. That means building out communication plans for our employees, improving our reporting tools, as well as building out standard work for the supervisors. So building those routines and communicating with the employees took us further than anything else right there. That was a really good lesson in itself. But what that translates to is a significant savings of a reduction in wasted materials, wasted labor that we would realize this year if we hadn't done this.
Yeah. And I know with the focus on earnings, material for your business is very material cost driven. So that really should just go straight to the bottom line for the company, right?
Right.
That's awesome. So what are you going to do with all those Improver coins you earn throughout the engagement?
We're going on vacation with them.
Oh my gosh!
Just you can't run a pandemic.
Yeah, there you
go. we'll wait a while yet.
Yeah. Don't try to spend them all at Walmart. Hold on to a few.
I'm thinking if I hold on to them for a while, I could maybe trade in for some Bitcoin.
There you go. That might work. We actually got a feature in the pipeline for trading in your Improver coins for rewards from the company, like plane tickets and movie passes and stuff like that. So, yeah, you never know. Might be worth something. Might be worth a lot one day. All right. So this was new. This is different, right? There's not a lot of software that's really driving, true continuous improvement, helping develop leaders as coaches. Jeremy, you mentioned Jon is in position to be a coach in the company, but not just that, but he's sort of in position to be the standard bearer for continuous improvement for the entire company, which is fantastic to hear. What impressed you most about the software and the process in general?
I think the software makes the process simple, and I think on the software itself, it's called the Kata cards. I believe I might have it wrong, but you can correct me later. But really walking you through the standard questions and really trying to not only just set the problem statement and what you're going to focus on for the next initiative. And it really drives that process. Then it makes it simple.
Good.
So that to me, that's the greatest part of the software. I think the process from a training standpoint is that too. The software helps drive the process from the standpoint, it makes it simple, right? It keeps you the questions you're supposed to ask. What are the concepts of Toyota Kata that's built in? And they go hand in hand. And I think that's where I keep talking about this acceleration piece is that, the software drives the process and really set up in the framework of Toyota Kata without actually having too many of the Toyota Kata buzzwords built in. It makes it simple.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So you guys did this PAE, this privileged access engagement, and you did it without the Kata cards per se. It was more, I guess that piece of it was a little more manual. Now that's automated and it's sort of walking the what we call the improvers through the Kata cards automatically on a daily basis or at the right cadence. It's going to be interesting to see how the next wave of users at Brook and Whittle engages with that and how much easier that makes Jon's job as a coach. Right, because then he could really just apply the muscle to speed things up, and that'll be his main challenge as a coach. Instead of hammering so much on process and software, he's more hammering on speed, which I think is what we really want from this ultimately. So Jon, what were you most surprised by over the last 6 weeks for this engagement?
Well, overall, the process, the software is fantastic, but the overall process is really a common sense approach to a problem that lean practitioners have always confronted, and that is when you're making fundamental changes to culture, change management, they're prone to stepping back to old habits. Yeah. And this really addresses the idea of building new habits instead and building those routines in there as a new habit as opposed to trying to wipe out the old ones. And I think that's a really strong approach right now. It makes it much more doable from the standpoint of the managers at the floor level.
Yeah, I see you were really taking good notes during our trivia sessions, it seems like. Because there's and I think you were the one who mentioned like there's a lot of theory sort of up front that you need to get leveled on to really understand what it's doing.
Right.
It's the real power is in the routine, and it's the routine of coming to work, thinking about that next improvement and then executing on that. And that if you can get an individual doing that, you've done great. If you can get that happening at enterprise scale, then you're doing something phenomenal, and I think in order to truly get that cultural shift, you mentioned it before, you kind of got to get there, right? And that's the challenge. Very cool.
I think that cultural shift though, Kelvin, is getting people to think about the impact they can have every day, right? And that's what this process allows you to get to is, it's not this overarching problem that's above you. It's really breaking it down with those questions, right? Or what can I impact today?
Yeah. And what can you do, right? Like,
right.
It's easy to sit back and accept things the way they are and say that's because somebody else's problem, right? And not take any real action. But it's pushing you to ask, what can you do? And sort of the next phase of that is just true self-empowerment, right? You feel more empowered, like you yourself can make a difference. And not only that, you kind of need to, right?
And as an organization that's growing very fast, we've acquired a number of new locations in the past 2 years. This is a great tool to help our employees understand they're part of a broader organization and start thinking the same way, so they really identify as a Brook and Whittle employee, part of that Brook and Whittle umbrella. I think this is a really strong tool for pulling together the organization in that manner as well.
There you go. Yeah, so you got a kind of an opportunity to practice improvement in a standardized way across the enterprise, right?
Correct.
And standards can be great. They have limits, but for the most part, if everybody's speaking a different language across the board, it's hard to work together. But, it's like you said, you got a lot of locations coming on. So what you're looking at is it could become chaotic if you don't have a templated way to do this that's pretty universally applicable. Very cool. All right. Last question here before I let you guys get back to it. I know you're anxious to get back to work and finish up the week. Jeremy, we've come a long way. It seems like it.
It does, doesn't it?
What's the next steps in your continuous improvement journey?
For me, I guess that it's all going to tie together, right? And I started the conversation off this way, but for me, our next step in continuous improvement journey is to make it a part of our culture. Yeah. Make it a part of Brook and Whittle's culture and involve more resources at all levels of the organization. Continuous improvement isn't just Jon McManus as the continuous improvement manager for the company. No, it's the impact everybody can have every day. And, to me, that's where the concept of Toyota Kata really can help us drive employee engagement. Because I think for us, involving all levels of employees across the entire organization is going to help drive our success, not just in 2021, but beyond.
Awesome. That is fantastic. Very cool. And I'm just glad to hear such a strong commitment to continuous improvement from a leader, senior leader of operations and supply chain as well. And of course, there's tons of implications across the entire supply chain for this types of stuff. So very refreshing to hear that. John, what about yourself? What are your next steps in the CI journey?
Well, I think we're going to begin coaching our management team. We really want to drive the Toyota Kata methods down to the floor. This is the first place to start right there. And also begin looking at our problems at a more granular level. Really scope down our problems so that they can be more successfully impacted by the people at the floor level, the people who really are impacted in the end by the issues that we're trying to address.
So, gentlemen, unfortunately, our time has come to an end. Hey, I want to just really thank you guys once again for everything so far. I mean, you guys have been great not only to work with as customers and users of the software platform, but just as friends and as advisors and people who help shape the roadmap for the software itself, and just been great to feed off of. So thank you for that. And I'm excited to see what happens next for you guys.
I want to thank you. I learned a lot with this engagement. So this has been a really good experience for me.
Oh, man, fantastic.
Truly appreciate it.
Yeah, the pleasure's mine. All right, with that, gentlemen, have a great weekend, and we will see you soon.
All right, take care.
All right, thanks, Calvin.
Thanks.